What's up? I'm gonna tell a story. Just recently, a couple weeks ago, I connected with this girl on a dating app. We talked for about a week. Things were going good. She's very attractive. The conversation's going well. We seem to be very much into each other. We had plans to see each other during the week, and my plans for that week had changed a little bit because I had a buddy that had gotten himself into a big job that he was kind of stuck on, doing a flooring job. It's kind of an emergency thing. So I ended up working some long, late hours and had to push us meeting. So then we're rolling up to the weekend, and I try to set something up to hang out with her. And I was looking forward to trying to see her on a Saturday evening. Well, it turns out she had a friend that was in town that she was planning on seeing. So I'm like, okay, I mean, if things don't work out, let me know. And Sunday rolls around and I didn't hear from her. And I was just kind of like, is it possible that was a guy friend? And that's why I haven't heard back from her? Maybe she's not interested in me anymore. Well, then I get into the week, I get busy with work, and just kind of, I don't want to say I forgot about her, but I just kind of I guess, let the idea of that go. So Wednesday rolls around, and I get a long text from her that just starts off, you know, excusing herself from why she didn't text me. You know, she wasn't feeling well and she was busy at work. And then she's kind of pointing her finger at me not texting her. And that made it seem like I'm just not interested in her. Then she starts to tell me, which by the way, this is such a typical thing in relationships where it's like projecting on somebody, blaming them for the same thing that you just did. Like, we both equally did not text each other for that same amount of time until she texted me. Didn't ask why, but she excused herself because she had a reason. And you know, kind of put some blame on me that I must not be interested. Well, I didn't hear from her either, so I guess she wasn't interested either, right? So anyway, she then starts telling me how, you know, she just doesn't know that this would be a good fit anyway. You know, we don't seem that compatible. She doesn't want somebody that talks about God all the time. She doesn't think that me being sober is going to be like that great for her because, you know, she likes to drink sometimes and wants to be wild, which I remember telling her that it's okay if she drinks. I'm sober, and, you know, is she cool with that? At the time, she said yes. And she even made a comment saying that, you know, she doesn't see herself being attracted to a guy that if they're gonna have sex, that he's gonna come up with some life lesson about it. Oh man, that's some good stuff. You know, when I was first reading that, I was starting to feel like some emotions rise up a little bit. I was feeling attacked. But I quickly realized that I'm so thankful for this text. You know, because I told her, I was like, I was kind of feeling like you weren't interested in me either. You know, maybe I should have just asked how your visit with your friend went. You know, I could have done that. I was like, it sounds like you're just not interested in me anymore. So, like, I don't even know if I should spend any time trying to explain myself. Or can we realize that there's a misunderstanding and chalk it up to that? Or work through it? And she went on with another response, just being like, you know, finger pointing. And I was like, you know, I'm really appreciative that she sent this to me, because I can see that she's got a lot of her own stuff that, you know, she's bringing on with her that she doesn't want to deal with and, you know, let go of. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, based on that text, like, I believe in God. I want to be able to talk about God without that hurting someone's feelings or making them feel any kind of negative emotions. Two, I kind of want somebody that's, no, I absolutely choose someone that also chooses self-development without me having to ask them to do it. I choose that for myself, and I would like to date someone that chooses that for themselves, so that way we can have growth together. And I shouldn't feel bad about that. In fact, I feel great about my journey. So I was very appreciative that she sent that text, and that happened so early on for me to realize that, you know, this isn't a good fit, you're right. So I wished her well, and that's how we ended it. We project our stuff onto others, and others project their stuff onto us. And what I've learned is, if it creates emotions in me, especially the negative emotions, that's growth opportunity for myself. And as I'm growing, I've noticed that I'm starting to feel less and less of those spikes of emotions. Not saying it doesn't happen, because there's certain people that seem to be able to trigger that more than others. But I've noticed that I've come a long way. I still feel I have a lifetime of work to do on myself. Self-development, I think, is a forever thing. At least it is for me. That's what I choose in my life. I choose constant growth. We're not all the same. We can choose to see ourselves and the feelings that we have towards others, or we can choose not to. And for her, I realized that she's gonna choose not to see herself in what she's projecting onto me. But I saw it, and I can agree with her that this wasn't a good fit, wish her well, and move on happily. That's something that I probably wouldn't have been able to do, I mean, just months ago, let alone, you know, years ago and in past relationships. I'd get a little fixated on someone. So there's a lady I met in NLP training this weekend, and I watched one of her videos today, and she's also sharing a lot of her self-development journey and her personal spiritual journey. And she brought up that it took, you know, a heartbreak for her to find, I guess it took a heartbreak and, like, I guess her version of rock bottom to understand where her patterns were, where her growth was, and how much of herself that she made, like, her happiness reliant on someone else. You know, what was gonna make her happy depended on someone else. And that resonated so much with me, because I realized how much I rely on other people for my happiness, my validation. You know, those patterns I have. And I'm still working on these things, you know? It starts with awareness and seeing it, then you can change it. It's work that's in here. And she talked about it's inner work. And if we're trying to do it all outside of ourselves, we're not fixing the right parts in the right places. So her video resonated very deeply with me. And I kind of look back to that, what happened last week with that girl on the dating app, and realized that I handled that so much better than I ever would have. And that feels good and empowering. So I'm making progress. And that feels great. Because again, my goal is to choose to be better today than I was yesterday. Cheers.